Okay, so today I'm working on a binding for a quilt. The binding is the very last piece that goes on after you've pieced the quilt, sandwiched the different layers together so you have the top of your quilt, your binding, or excuse me, your batting, and then the backing fabric that goes on the back of the quilt. So I've cut these 2-inch strips. Some patterns, like in some of the quilt magazines you can buy, will tell you to do 2.5, I think is what they'll tell you. I've seen 2.25. I do 2-inch because when you're finished, and I can show you on another quilt here in a little bit, you will not have like a gap in there. If you make it too big, you'll end up with kind of a gap. So here's a finished one, and you can see so this little piece here, this is the binding. So if you push right here, there's no fluff, there's no air, it's pretty much the edge of the quilt, and it looks pretty even. I don't like a big hangover back here. So that's why I just do the 2 inches, because you're going to end up folding it in half and then attaching it to the edging here. So I just want to show you how to put this. So what you do is you'll measure your quilt. So you would measure the perimeter of it, so all the way around it, and then I give myself 6 inches for each corner, which gives me the extra that I need to finish it up and connect the end pieces. So I've already cut my strips, I've already measured the perimeter, both sides, both ends, added that together in inches, and then that's what the length of these strips should be, plus 24, 6 times 4, because I do 6 inches per corner, excuse me, not quarter. So when you do this, I've already sewed a couple of them, and you can see this. So this is called a miter. You want to do this because it gives strength to the binding piece when you tug on it. You'll see a lot of carpenters do this, and woodworking as well. If I were to just cut this straight across and sew it end to end, it would put a lot of stress on that piece and pull up the stitches. This doesn't so much. And again, we're going to end up folding this, and so it gives it even more strength. So and then I've just taken my scissors, eyeballed it at a 1/4 inch seam, clipped off that edge. So I'm going to show you how to sew this together and make those strips, and then I'll show you how to iron it to get ready to piece it in another clip. So here is 2 pieces. So I've got the right side of my fabric, which is where the side of your pattern, and then the wrong side is the back side where the pattern is not. So you want to put these face to face. So do it like this. You've just got it going straight, and then you'll just lay this corner vertically on this, so perpendicular. See, so the edges match up, the corner matches up, and then pin it, because it will shift while you're trying to sew. I'm going to put in a couple pins. Get this evened back up. And then after I get this pinned, I'm going to sew this across at an angle to create that mitered seam. I can take these pins out as I sew it. So I'm going to sew from this corner where this fabric meets this fabric, that point. I used to draw lines on it, and feel free to do that with a pencil or a marking pen. You can buy like a disappearing ink pen at any craft store or at a quilt shop, or you can probably order them on Amazon or Walmart, I'm sure. So I'm going to sew from this corner all the way to this corner where it meets down here, okay? Oh, I don't know how well you'll be able to see this on my sewing machine. Okay, here we go. Take this out. I'm just going to try to sew a straight line. Doesn't need to be absolutely perfect. You can just eyeball it. And I just peek under there occasionally to make sure I'm headed in the right direction. Go ahead and sew off of it. Clip it, clip your beginning threads. Now, when you do press this binding, don't press this open. Similar to the prior videos that I showed you about pressing quilt pieces, don't press this seam open. We'll leave it flat to one side. So see, I'm just eyeballing it. No one's going to see this. You don't want to cut it too short because you want to give it strength, so it does need a seam. And there you have it. There's a mitered seam. I will come back later and show you how to press this and pin it correctly to attach it to a finished quilt. I actually have a quilt that I'm working on that I'm wrapping up right now, and I'll show you how to do that, the great mystery. So thank you.